What is up, my people? Welcome to another one. Today we're going to talk about Ingrid. Now that Alex is made his official debut on Street Fighter 6, we can now start looking forward to the final character of season 4. I mean, season 3, right? Season 3, I think, yeah. And the thing about Ingrid is that she's going to be extremely strong, guys. Okay, she's been called the god of Street Fighter, or the Street Fighter universe, or really the Capcom universe. Okay, because um, so we're right now we're in Metro City, and if you don't know, like Rival Schools, Final Fight, and Street Fighter, they're all in the same universe. And also Strider, what's his Hiyuka or Hayuka, something like that. Uh, he's in it too, right? So a lot of these characters from Capcom, they're from the same universe, with the exception of, like, I think JoJo, because I think JoJo is it is a Capcom game. Okay, I don't know if because it's split. It's weird. It's split. They have the manga stuff is owned by someone else, and the gaming stuff, because I have seen Capcom games, or at least the one I remember from the 90s was Capcom, like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. I don't know if you remember that one. It was pretty good. That was Capcom. So I don't know if they're in it too, but I do know, like I said, the whole Street Fighter cast is part of the same universe as the Final Fight, and Rival Schools, and who else? I mean, Mega Man for sure. I mean, Mega Man's part of of Capcom, so maybe from the future or something like that. Because some of these are from the future of the same universe. So, but anyways, what I'm trying to say is that Ingrid is the god of all of that shit. She's like, or if not the god, she's like the vessel that the source of all of it possesses, I guess you could say, if I had to explain it in a way. um that would probably be the best way to explain it. And so what does that mean? What is that source? So the source that pretty much um like gives everything in this universe like power and strength or whatever. um you could see it in Bison with the psycho power, of course. Ryu with his Dark Hado, and not just the Dark Hado, even the regular um shit that he does, like the energy bombs and stuff like this. Like kind of like Chi, but for this universe, it's kind of the same thing, and it could be used for both evil and for for good, right? Um, and I think when it's good, or when it because for Ryu it's kind of a neutral. When he's like in his peak state, it's a neutral force. The force of nature is very neutral for Ryu, and as opposed to the two opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to this force would be, on one side, Rose, and Manat, I think that's her name, with the ball, would be on the good side, and I think they call that soul power, right, or soul power, or something like that. And on the other side, on the evil side, it would be psycho power, right? So, and then it works in a spectrum from there, because you got people like Ed, who's definitely on the psycho power side, but he's not all the way, fully committed to the psycho power side. Like, for example, Akuma and M Bison, which those two guys, they almost are consumed by, the darker forces of this energy that this universe works off of. Um, And you can kind of see it, right? You can kind of see like a power scaling thing, or something like that that explains, what's going on in this universe. And so Ingrid, she, from what I can tell, she is like, first of all, she's gonna be the giant attack for this season. Okay, because if you think about it, in the first season, the strongest, and this is how I gauge it. So, the strongest character for DLC was Akuma, right? And if you go to World Tour mode, and each of the DLC characters that you train under, you're usually able to beat them. There's gonna be like a easy character to beat. There's going to be like a semi-hard character to beat. And then there's going to be one that you're just never going to beat. At least me personally, I just can't beat Akuma. He's just too damn good in World Tour. And he just takes off a lot of chunks off of your life gauge, right? And it's just not, it's kind of impossible to beat. He's kind of impossible to beat. So he's one of them, right? And so that was kind of like, a sign that he was going to be the giant attack, right? Because he's the strongest. So in season 1, he was the giant attack. In season 2, the giant attack was M. Bison, right? And M. Bison, I still can't beat him. He's extremely hard to beat. Like I said, after you train under him and you leave or whatever, and if you keep coming back to try to challenge him again, that's when he starts fighting you for real. And that's when you're gonna see how hard it is to beat this guy. And that's a sign that he's gonna be the giant attack. And he was, right? So I calculated by those two. And right now in World Tour mode, I've already beaten Alex. I've already beaten what's her face? What's the girl's name? Sea Viper, right? And who's the other one? Who's the first one? I'm trying to remember. Oh, Sagat. So I've already beaten Sagat. I've already beaten Sea Viper, and I've already beaten Alex. Okay, so they're not hard to beat. I mean, he's kind of hard to beat, but you can beat him. He's not really that hard to beat. You're gonna struggle a little bit, but then once you get a hang of it, and you get your avatar to do what you know how to do, you'll be able to beat him easy. The same thing goes with Sagat, and the same thing goes with Sea Viper. And so my thing is, if these guys ain't hard to beat, and I'm able to beat them myself, right? And listen, I'm not saying like I'm this crazy good player, but just trust me on this. I know what's gonna happen. Ingrid is gonna be our giant attack. That means that she's going to be extremely hard to beat, not just in giant attack, and in Avatar. I think that she's going to kind of break the game. Okay, that's what I think. That's my opinion, because you guys remember when M. Bison first appeared, he was like so good, dude. Like, he was extremely good. And I remember playing him online and thinking, this has to be like pay to win, right? Because it was just so easy to win with him, and I wasn't losing at all. Of course, he got nerfed a little bit, and things kind of changed from there, right? And Akuma was kind of the same thing, not as much as Bison, but he was kind of the same thing online. But in World Tour mode, he's just too good, So that's what I'm saying. Like, judging by that, judging by that, I think Ingrid is going to be, a very strong character, and she's going to be our giant attack. So get ready for that. Imagine just Ingrid, just a little bitty girl, like in giant mode, and you have to beat her or whatever. She's going to be annoying, dude, and she's going to bring a lot of bad memories from from Capcom what's it called? Capcom. Is it Fusion or fuck? I always forget. Capcom Element or something like that. Evolution. Capcom Evolution. Capcom Fighting Evolution. I had that game, and it's like one of the worst games ever because they pumped it up so much, or at least for me as a fighting game fan, they pumped it up so much, and then you get the game and it just sucks, dude. Like sucks bad. And as a fighting game fan, you're always like, is it me? Am I the retard for not liking this? And it's like, nah, because back in the day we weren't as connected as we are today. Like now, if you feel a certain way, you could go online and you could see if that's what's going on. Like the whole Alex thing, I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't know if it's me, but then I go online, it's like, no, yeah, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely kind of weird, right? But getting back to Ingrid. So Ingrid, is this character that she was supposed to come out in a game called Capcom All Stars, which you probably haven't heard of that game because it was never released. And it was a game that not even I heard about it. I actually heard about it through Max. I don't know if you go. I mean, of course, if you like fighting games, you know who Maximilian Dude is. So that's who I heard it from. The game even existing in the first place was through him, right? And so I go doing some digging around, trying to figure out, about the game or whatever. And it turns out that this game was going to involve, a lot of the Capcom characters, like, like the ones I just mentioned, like Strider, Mike Hagar, Cody, Guy, all of these guys, like from all the Capcom different games, like Mega Man, everybody from Street Fighter, everybody from Final Fight, everybody from rival schools was probably gonna join as well. So it was just like kind of like uniting all of the Capcom characters into one fighting game and into one universe, really, because they were going to make the storyline was going to be about the Capcom universe, and it was going to the center of where everybody was going to fight was going to be in what you call that, Metro City, and so something was going to go down in Metro City to where Mike Hagar, who was the mayor at the time of the game that was going to release, he was going to have to call the big guns, right? Because the regular people weren't able to deal with this new threat. And he was going to call some enforcers. I forgot their name. It's kind of like the Avengers of this world, but it's only two people, which is Ingrid and another guy. I forgot his name. But Ingrid was the strongest one, right? But she was a little girl, right? She's like a little girl with powers of a god, pretty much. And I think the name of these characters was the Code Holders. Code Holders, right? Now, if you think about the word Code Holders, and I think that's what it is. It's at least it's close to that. If you think of what it means, Code Holders, it kind of means that they're just holding a power. They're holding a power. They're kind of like pockets of skin for a energy that is much bigger than them. And I think if you think about Ingrid as this little girl who's really just, because you've heard that term, like, this is just a meat suit, right? And the what's really important is the soul. So I'm thinking Ingrid is kind of like that, but she's infused with the power of whatever the source is of this universe, which is really the god of this universe. Okay, so it's the same thing that powers psycho power and powers soul power and powers, the Dark Hado and the Satsui no Hado and all of these things. Well, I think that's the same thing. But anyways, my point is the energy source um, of this world, which is the Capcom world, the Capcom universe, is Ingrid. So that's why they call her kind of like the god of this universe, is because she's pretty much the main. And if you guys, I don't know if you guys follow One Punch Man. That's kind of what One Punch Man kind of is. It's like this universe is full of this power or whatever, but One Punch Man carries like the strongest part of that. I guess you could say, or the closest thing to God when it comes to that. And that's what Ingrid is going to be. So she's going to be OP, okay? She's going to be OP as fuck. I mean, she's going to be like crazy, right? So that's what I found kind of interesting when it comes to Ingrid, and when it comes to what to expect from her. So I personally can't wait. I'm definitely not going to main her just because of her vibes. Like I said, to me it's not just about gameplay. To me it's do I vibe with the character? Because there's definitely certain characters that I vibe when it comes to the buttons. Like like for example, Manon. So me and Manon, we're very good together when we're fighting. And I'm using her, right? But I just don't vibe with her, like her look, her like personality, the things she's about and stuff like that. Like I'm definitely not into um Manon like that. So that's kind of difficult to have a character that you vibe so well when it comes to her gameplay, but when it comes to who she is as a person, you just can't, you just can't do it. Yeah, for me, I just can't do it when it comes to Manon. It's just the pink and the whole supermodel thing. I just can't do it, man. It's just not for me. Like even my avatar, you look at my avatar. My avatar is just a dude, like a guy just walking around. He probably does construction or something, and he's just he's just a guy. He falls more in line with Ed, like I said, and like Ed or even Terry Bogard. What's the other guy's name? I forget his name. He's from what's the guy's name from King of Fighters? He kind of has a bandana like this too. What's his name? I like that guy. And he has like a big he hits really hard. He's a brawler. So I like brawler grapplers or just pure brawlers. Like that's my kind of vibe, and also their attitudes are pretty much close to what I like when it comes to video game characters. But Manon, she's the opposite of that. She's like very girly and I don't know. That's just me personally, and I'm not saying that I don't play female characters. I have played female characters before, but they're not like I don't know, like Manon. Manon's kind of weird to me. Weird part, and I always leave the weird parts for the end of the video, because I don't want to weird people out from the beginning, right? But the thing about Ingrid is like she reminds me a lot of I don't know if you've seen this movie called fuck, I forgot the name of the movie, but it's about these kids that they kind of turn evil or something. They have this psychic ability to read people's minds and to pretty much kill people with their brains, right? And it's really hard to beat them because you have to be good with your mind or whatever. I think in the movie I saw one guy beat him by creating a wall and thinking about that wall, and the kids couldn't get through to him. But yeah, she reminds me of those kids. But then when you start looking into, you know, what that movie was based on, and then you start looking at other movies like that as well. I saw another movie um with another little psychic girl, and I forgot it was directed, not directed, but written by Stephen King. And this girl, she starts fires. She can she's pyrokinetic or something like that. And yeah, so it reminds me of this kind of stuff, but then you start looking at what happens in real life when it comes to this kind of stuff. And you start looking at some of the certain people in the real world, not even in fighting games, but there's certain people in the real world that believe that if you torture, in fact, it's in the Epstein files, if you torture kids or whatever, that they could get psychic abilities, right? And I think the thinking goes that they are possessed by a being that's beyond them or something like that, and that makes them more psychically powerful or whatever. And listen, the thinking from that, me personally, what I think it comes from, it's and this is my theory. This I've never heard anything, nobody ever say anything like this. But my theory is that if you read the Bible, right, Jesus was tortured in the Bible, and then when he died, the legend is, or the story goes, because I know some people don't believe in a lot of that stuff. So the story goes that the earth shook, right, or at least there in Rome, it there was a small earthquake, and there was an eclipse, right, and so the people behind the scenes, call them the Illuminati, call them whatever secret society was there. They somehow believe that was because they tortured him so much, and they, um, you know, just did him so dirty that pain caused him to be possessed by the god of this world or something like that, and that's what made that happen. And this is like, bro, this is not like a thing that I'm making up, or this part is a theory of mine. But the other stuff where when I'm talking about, some people believe that if you torture children, they turn into, these psychic gods or whatever. This is like, it's like a thing people believe for real. Like, don't take my word for it. Like, go and look at some of the MK Ultra stuff, some of the go look at the Epstein files. And I know some people it's too strong for you guys and to investigate this kind of stuff, and it's kind of weird or whatever. And I don't even know why I'm talking about it with Street Fighter, right? But with what we saw with Alex already, it's like we're already there, bro. Like, and I've always seen it with Street Fighter, by the way. I've always seen it in Street Fighter. Like the way they turned, at least in the movie, they turned what's his face, Charlie Nash into Blanca, right? Or the way, Ken, was turned into Psycho Ken, or a violent Ken in the Street Fighter movie. So like that kind of stuff, it comes from somewhere, and some of the stuff is actually written down to where you see it and you're like, yeah, this is what that's about. So, and listen, bro, like, I hate to like mess things up for people, but I gotta call out what I see, man. And I think Ingrid is a little psychic bitch. That's what I think she is. She's gonna destroy everything, bro. She's gonna burn everybody. But anyways, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.